The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning, everyone. It's 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen. Making news around the state this morning. A manhunt is underway after a Los Angeles sheriff's deputy was shot and killed in Palmdale. Investigators say he was ambushed at a red light in his patrol car Saturday night. This has shaken up many in the community who are trying to figure out why this happened. Carlos Saucedo from our sister station in LA was one of the hundreds at last night's candlelight vigil.
Amazing grace. From song and prayer to a flyover above the Palmdale Sheriff's Station lit up in blue. More than 1,000 people came out Sunday night to find solace amid grief.
This event right here shows the committed people from this community that love our sheriff's department. And I hope that you will always respect the men and women in uniform that keep you safe each and every day.
A community banding together after one of their own was killed the night before, right in front of the station. Deputy Ryan Klinkenbroomer, known by friends as Klink, was 30 years old, an 8-year veteran with the LA County Sheriff's Department, and came from a family legacy of service. Both his father and grandfather served with LASD.
This loss it's weighing heavy on our employees, especially with this young man, Ryan. He was just an amazing human being.
The young deputy had recently gotten engaged within the last few days.
My nephew's LAPD, and so seeing him so young, close to home, because my nephew's around the same age, and nobody wants to put on that uniform, and they do it every day without fail, without thinking of their own mortality.
While there are still so many unanswered questions as to why a tragedy like this could happen, there was much love for members of law enforcement.
To those who wear the uniform, we're thankful for you.
Assemblyman Tom Lackey getting choked up.
There's work to be done to unify all of us. Let's please let this tragedy be the impetus to bring us together.
That was Carlos Saucedo reporting. No suspects have been identified in that killing, and also last night the LA County Sheriff said they had identified a vehicle of interest, a dark gray Toyota Corolla manufactured between 2006 and 2012, and anyone with information is being urged to come forward. 17 follow-up file now, and we're learning more about a devastating incident for a local family. One of the two people struck by a hit-and-run driver outside the El Montecito Club last month has died. The incident was caught on surveillance video, which was shared hundreds of times across social media. It happened on August 26th around 11 p.m. The video shows a white van driving down Baker Street. And once the van is out of frame, Isaac Meza and Carmen Esqueda begin to cross. That's when the van reverses, comes back into frame, and you can see it slam into the couple. The coroner says Meza died of his injuries. Esqueda's daughter tells 17 News that her mother continues to recover at home but is struggling with the news of her partner's death. There are still no arrests in this case. Anyone with information is urged to call BPD at 327-7111. Investigators are looking into another deadly crash involving a pedestrian. It happened early yesterday morning just outside Endeavor Elementary School in Northwest Bakersfield. Police say a man was hit by a car shortly before 3 a.m. and he died later at a hospital. Police believe alcohol and speed were factors in the crash, but they haven't said who was intoxicated. Crews raced to smother the flames of a raging house fire in East Bakersfield. It all happened early Saturday morning on Knotts Street. Crews say they managed to stop the flames from spreading to nearby structures. No one was hurt, and the cause is under investigation. Well, starting today, all victims' services through the Kern County District Attorney's Office will be housed in one building. The Family Justice Center, the Victim Witness Unit, and the Elder Abuse Unit will now operate out of the county building on 18th Street. District Attorney Cynthia Zimmer says while essential services won't change, the new location will allow the agencies to grow. Hours of operation are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and walk-ins are welcome until 4 p.m. Making news around the nation, President Joe Biden offering a quick comment on the Republican-led House impeachment inquiry when asked by reporters yesterday. The inquiry was launched last week by Bakersfield Congressman and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. He previously indicated that he would not open such an inquiry without holding a vote. However, he has since characterized the impeachment inquiry as a logical next step following months of investigations into the president and his son, Hunter Biden. The president was asked about his response while returning to the White House from Delaware. In addition to the impeachment inquiry, Congress also faces a looming deadline to fund the government and avert a shutdown. And now to those negotiations happening in Washington, D.C. The clock is ticking because lawmakers have until the 30th to come up with a deal. NBC's Bree Jackson is in Washington with the latest.
House Republicans working around the clock to address internal bickering and avert a looming government shutdown.
I feel we made some good progress this weekend.
And I'm optimistic that we will continue to move the appropriations process forward, and that includes the DoD appropriations bill.
Critical factions of the House GOP reached a tentative deal Sunday. It paves the way to pass a defense spending bill, which Republicans held up last week, and provides a short-term solution for government funding, keeping military and VA funding at current levels while cutting other domestic spending by 8%. There's no mention of more money for Ukraine, which is something President Biden is pushing for.
The House certainly the Republican caucus overwhelmingly supports aid for Ukraine. There will be issues over what the administration has asked for and what Congress ultimately gives.
It also includes hardline Republican border measures, which Democrats are unlikely to support.
We have a vision to put people over politics. That's what we should be doing.
Even some Republicans say a shutdown is imminent.
I've talked to some federal employees that don't really mind it because they're going to get a vacation, they're going to get time off, but then they're going to get back pay. And so they're not really grumbling about a government shutdown. It's more than meets the eye.
The GOP-led measure faces an uphill battle with just days until government funding runs out. And some Democrats are trashing the House Republicans' short-term bill, calling it extreme. And even if it does pass the House, the measure is likely to hit a roadblock in the Democrat-controlled Senate. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
Making headlines around the state, a bill to ensure a championship or all championship games for high school football are played on equal fields is now under consideration. SB 486 comes months after Shafter High School lost a championship game on a muddy field in Northern California. But 17's Rob Hagan explains how inspiration for the bill comes from some strong words from a local fired-up football coach.
Senate Bill 486 is ready to be signed into law. The new bill would require every championship high school football game in all divisions be held on equal playing fields.
A small town in the middle of nowhere just changed the whole state of California.
Actually, Gerald Perucci was the source of that change. The Shafter High School head football coach went into an angry rant about the playing conditions after losing a championship game in a muddy mess last year in December at Orland High School. The rant aimed at the California Interscholastic Federation, the governing body for all high school sports in the state for more than 100 years.
It is a shame on the CIF that they allow a state championship game to be played on a field like this when you got Division I and II teams playing on turf. You guys in the CIF should know better than this bull crap.
California State Senator Melissa Hurtado, the Democrat out of Bakersfield, was listening that night.
He has a lot of love and passion for his team and felt there was an injustice being committed.
Now, 9 months later, SB 486 is on the governor's desk, and the Shafter head coach fighting for fairness is now filled with gratitude.
Now I'm just happy for the kids. I'm happy for all the small schools now that are going to get the opportunity to play on the big stage like the big schools, like it should be when you play for a state championship.
Governor Gavin Newsom has 12 days to sign or veto the bill. In the meantime, some of the players who felt the loss at that state championship game, their last game ever, might celebrate a win at the state capitol. I'm Rob Hagan with 17 News.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.